Exposition of the Holy Quran. By G. A. Parwez, Sura 2, verse 251 to 286.
فهزموهم بإذن الله وقتل داود جالوت وآتاه الله الملك والحكمة وعلمه مما يشاء ولولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لفسدت الأرض ولكن الله ذو فضل على العالمين.
251 So they inflicted a crushing defeat upon their opponents and David killed Goliath.
Later on Allah bestowed authority and wisdom upon David and gave him knowledge based on revelation. The moral of Saul's story is that if Allah did not
check oppressive forces through others, there would be chaos.
It is to be noted that Allah's intervention is not direct but through the agency of human beings. 22:40. In this way the checking of the oppressive forces is Allah's boon towards all people.
تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وإنك لمن المرسلين.
252 Such are Allah's laws based upon truth which He communicates to you, O Rasul.
True revelation. You are truly of the order of the Rusul.
تلك الرسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض منهم من كلم الله ورفع بعضهم درجات وآتينا عيسى ابن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس ولو شاء الله ما اقتتل الذين من بعد ما جاءتهم البينات ولكن اختلفوا فمنهم من آمن ومنهم من كفر ولو شاء الله ما اقتتلوا ولكن الله يفعل ما يريد.
253 No distinction is made amongst the Rusul mentioned in the Quran so far as their nubuwwat is concerned.
285
However, they are differentiated from each other by virtue of their spheres of activity. To some Allah spoke directly. E.g. Moses 4:164-7. 143 to 144 and 42. 51. And some were elevated above others in certain respects, among them is Jesus, son of Mary. To him we had given revelation, Ruhul Qudus,
in an authentic form which was corroborated by reason. This gave him great strength
and confidence. 287. If it had been Allah's will to create human beings without freedom of the will, then the followers of various Rusul would not have differed amongst themselves or waged wars against each other after they had received clear guidance through their Anbiya. They differed and split into two classes, one who accepted divine laws and others who rejected them. Mark again, if Allah had not bestowed freedom of the will upon human beings they would not have differed or waged wars amongst themselves. This is also His law and Allah does whatever He wills.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة والكافرون هم الظالمون.
254 differences amongst human beings can be overcome if they subordinate their wills to divine guidance and
establish a Quranic order. To do that, financial support is required. O Jamaat al-Momineen, make every effort to establish this order before it is too late and the time comes when no bargaining, friendship, or intercession will be possible.
And those who deny the truth are the ones who
bring suffering to themselves.
الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم.
255 This order belongs to Allah, who is the sole authority in the universe, who is ever living and self-subsisting, and who is seized neither by slumber nor sleep. The entire universe is engaged in fulfilling His plan.
Who is there who can intercede with Him unless it be in accordance with His laws? Allah knows the past and present of all people, and no one can partake of His knowledge except through the method prescribed by Him.
Allah's authority encompasses the entire universe, which He maintains untiringly. His power extends from the lowest to the highest level of His creation.
لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم.
256 If Allah, the possessor of such might, had desired, then His order could have been established in the human sphere as it is in the natural sphere, but He did not wish to exercise compulsion. He made the right and wrong path clear and left man free to choose either path. 18.
29, 76.
390. 10. Whoever turns away from the wrong path of oppressive forces and comes to the right one has grasped the most trustworthy hand-hold which will never break. Allah is all-knowing and all-hearing.
الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
257 Allah is the guardian of Momineen and brings them from darkness towards light. Oppressive forces are the guardians of those who reject Allah's laws and take them from light into darkness. Ruin and disaster are their everlasting end.
ألم تر إلى الذي حاج إبراهيم في ربه أن آتاه الله الملك إذ قال إبراهيم ربي الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأت بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين.
258 O Jamaat al-Momineen, you will face great difficulties in the establishment of the divine order, as was the case with Abraham. The king himself was his adversary and disputed even the existence of Allah merely on the basis of his worldly power. Abraham told the king that he believed in Allah who has control over life and death. The king said that in his kingdom he had control over life and death. Seeing the king's mentality, Abraham did not pursue the point but said, "If you have supreme authority in your kingdom, then you should make the sun which rises in the east in accordance with Allah's law come out from the west." The king was dumbfounded by Abraham's argument.
Persons with such mentality seldom adopt the right path.
أو كالذي مر على قرية وهي خاوية على عروشها قال أنى يحيي هذه الله بعد موتها فأماته الله 100 عام ثم بعثه قال كم لبثت قال لبثت يوما أو بعض يوم قال بل لبثت 100 عام فانظر إلى طعامك وشرابك لم يتسنه وانظر إلى حمارك ولنجعلك آية للناس وانظر إلى العظام كيف ننشزها ثم نكسوها لحما فلما تبين له قال أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير.
259.
From laws relating to an individual's life and death we now move to the laws relating to the life and death of nations.
As is known in history, after the destruction of Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar, the Bani Israel lived in captivity for about 100 years.
Then they were liberated and re-established in Jerusalem.
This story has been narrated in the Quran symbolically as follows. A person passing through a ruined habitation asked if such a devastated place could have new life. Allah kept him in a death-like state for 100 years, then gave him new life and asked him,
"How long have you remained in this state?"
He replied,
"Maybe a day or so."
Allah said to him, "You have been in this state for 100 years, but your food and drink has not gone bad and your ass is still standing as before."
You should also reflect upon the process by which man develops from the embryonic state to where he becomes a living human being.
When the passerby had reflected upon the parable, he said, "Now I can understand how Allah can give life to dead nations."
وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أرني كيف تحيي الموتى قال أولم تؤمن قال بلى ولكن ليطمئن قلبي قال فخذ 4 من الطير فصرهن إليك ثم اجعل على كل جبل منهن جزءا ثم ادعهن يأتينك سعيا واعلم أن الله عزيز حكيم.
260. Each Nabi has been confronted with the problem of giving life to a dead nation. For instance, Abraham faced such a problem and said to Allah, "What is the process by which new life may be infused into a dead nation?" Allah asked him, "Do you not believe that dead nations may receive new life?" Abraham said, "I do believe, but I would like to know by what process, so that I can undertake it with full confidence." Allah explained the process to Abraham through an example. He said, "Take 4 untamed birds. At first they will seek to get away from you. Make them familiar with yourself gradually. This will bring about remarkable change in them. Even if you set them free and call to them, they will come to you swiftly. This is how you must patiently reform those who rebel against your call and bring them close to yourself and make them understand and appreciate the divine system." This is how they will receive life. Most certainly Allah is Almighty, wise.
مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم.
261 As already stated, for the establishment of this order, financial help is needed.
This help may be likened to the seeds which are sown in a field. In time each seed will produce a rich harvest.
Likewise Allah grants manifold increase to him who spends out of his possessions.
And Allah is all-embracing, all-knowing.
الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون.
262 Those who spend and keep open their possessions for the establishment of this order do not thereafter mar their spending by stressing their own benevolence and hurting the feelings of the needy ones. Surely their reward is with their Rabb.
And when the order is established there will be no fear of anything nor any cause of anxiety for all of them.
قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم.
263 Better than giving help followed by taunts is to refuse help in a kindly manner. And Allah is self-sufficient, forbearing.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى كالذي ينفق ماله رئاء الناس ولا يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فمثله كمثل صفوان عليه تراب فأصابه وابل فتركه صلدا لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا والله لا يهدي القوم الكافرين.
264 O Jamaat al-Momineen, if you give help, do not void it by stressing the favor you have done, thus inflicting injury upon the recipients of your help. This is done by those who do not believe in Allah and the hereafter and give charity for purposes of showing off their wealth. This kind of help is like a rock thinly coated by soil from which the rain washes away the soil along with the seed, leaving the rock bare. Such efforts bear no fruit and the right path does not appear before these people. 56, 66 to 67, 68, 17 to 32.
ومثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم ابتغاء مرضات الله وتثبيتا من أنفسهم كمثل جنة بربوة أصابها وابل فآتت أكلها ضعفين فإن لم يصبها وابل فطل والله بما تعملون بصير.
265 On the other hand, those who spend their wealth in the cause of Allah and for the strengthening of their personality
may be likened to a garden on an elevated place which will yield twofold its fruit if it rains heavily, and will
produce a harvest even if it rains lightly. Allah sees all what you do.
أيود أحدكم أن تكون له جنة من نخيل وأعناب تجري من تحتها الأنهار له فيها من كل الثمرات وأصابه الكبر وله ذرية ضعفاء فأصابها إعصار فيه نار فاحترقت كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون.
266 Would any one of you wish to find yourself in the situation of a man who owns orchards of dates and grapes with streams flowing therein and is assured that he and his children will have a secure future?
When he grows old, however, and his children are still young, a fiery wind destroys his orchards.
What then will happen to him and his children? In this way Allah makes clear His laws so that you may reflect upon them.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا من طيبات ما كسبتم ومما أخرجنا لكم من الأرض ولا تيمموا الخبيث منه تنفقون ولستم بآخذيه إلا أن تغمضوا فيه واعلموا أن الله غني حميد.
267 Therefore,
O Jamaat al-Momineen, keep the best part of what you earn or grow for the system and do not think of giving away useless things which you do not think are worth their price. Take note that what you give is given not to Allah but to yourselves, for He is self-sufficient and worthy of all hamd.
الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء والله يعدكم مغفرة منه وفضلا والله واسع عليم.
268 Your selfish sentiments will frighten you by persuading you that if you give away to others what you have you will be reduced to poverty, and teaching you to collect wealth by indecent means.
Take note, however, that the divine system will ensure protection against any calamities, and abundance of means of livelihood, for Allah is all-embracing, all-knowing.
يؤتي الحكمة من يشاء ومن يؤت الحكمة فقد أوتي خيرا كثيرا وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب.
269 One cannot understand these matters by means of the intellect alone but through the intellect guided by revelation. Such an insight is a blessing from Allah, but none would bear this in mind except men of understanding. 17, 39, 28, 50, 30, 29, 16, 30.
وما أنفقتم من نفقة أو نذرتم من نذر فإن الله يعلمه وما للظالمين من أنصار.
270 Whatever you spend for the system or the services you offer. 9,
79, 76.
7. Is taken into account by the law of Makafat. Those who fail to fulfill their obligations shall have no helpers.
إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعما هي وإن تخفوها وتؤتوها الفقراء فهو خير لكم ويكفر عنكم من سيئاتكم والله بما تعملون خبير.
271 If you give help openly for the collective good of the people it is all right, but if, during the initial stages of this nizam, you give it quietly to the needy people, it is still better. Helping others, in fact, assists you in removing the unevenness in your own personality and the society. Allah, however, is aware of all what you do.
ليس عليك هداهم ولكن الله يهدي من يشاء وما تنفقوا من خير فلأنفسكم وما تنفقون إلا ابتغاء وجه الله وما تنفقوا من خير يوفى إليكم وأنتم لا تظلمون.
272 O Rasul, it is not your responsibility to make people follow the right path. 5.
99:28.
56. One adopts the right path himself in the light of the divine guidance.
6.
149:43. 2010. 99-100. You must simply tell the people that whatever they spend for others in this context will be returned to them in full and also help in the development of their personality. Provided the motive for the spending is nothing other than the establishment of the divine order and achieving conformity to his laws. Be sure that you will not be wronged in this behalf.
للفقراء الذين أحصروا في سبيل الله لا يستطيعون ضربا في الأرض يحسبهم الجاهل أغنياء من التعفف تعرفهم بسيماهم لا يسألون الناس إلحافا وما تنفقوا من خير فإن الله به عليم.
273 Your help is not to be given to beggars.
It is for those who are fighting in the cause of Allah but have been deprived of the means of livelihood by adverse circumstances and are also unable to move to another place. These people have so much self-respect that their need is not known to anyone who is not well acquainted with them.
Their appearance, however, bespeaks their condition.
They do not grovel before others seeking alms. And whatever you spend on them out of his bounties, Allah is certainly aware of its motives and how far it satisfies the needs of its recipients.
الذين ينفقون أموالهم بالليل والنهار سرا وعلانية فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون.
274 Those who spend in the cause of Allah, openly or secretly, help to create the divine order in which there is no fear or anxiety.
الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
275 On the one hand, there are people who go to the extent of curtailing their own needs to help others.
59.
9. On the other, there are those who exploit the needy. They give loans charging interest. Riba. This is due to lust for money, which is an affliction with the touch of shaitan. Those who take riba justify it by saying that it is a form of trade. Allah has declared trade to be lawful and riba to be unlawful. If anyone refrains from taking riba after Allah's law has become known, he will not be held accountable for what he had in the past, but if he reverts to the practice of taking riba, he will head towards the inferno of destruction to abide therein.
يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم.
276 Those who think that a nation's capital is increased by means of riba are mistaken. The economy based upon riba, in fact, reduces a nation's wealth.
The wealth which increases is that which is spent for the welfare of others.
And Allah does not permit those to flourish who conceal His bounties to the deprivation of others, and thus persist in contributing to the deterioration of the system.
إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون.
277 Those who believe in and act in accordance with the laws of Allah and establish the order of Salat and Zakat will not have any fear or anxiety, for it would be the result of their actions that this order would be established. And for this, their reward would lie with their Rabb.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله وإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون.
278 to 279 O Jamaat al-Momineen, abide by Allah's laws and forego whatever portion of riba remains owing. This will show that you are true believers. If you do not do this, be prepared for war with the divine order.
If you will forego
riba and claim only the principal amount, this will be fair, both to you and to the debtor. Neither will be wronged.
وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وأن تصدقوا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
280 If the debtor is in straitened circumstances, give him respite until it becomes convenient for him to repay your loan. But if you forego the loan, it will be still better for you.
If you could only understand.
واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون.
281 Beware of that day of reckoning when each person will receive what he has worked for in full, and it will not be diminished in any way.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه وليكتب بينكم كاتب بالعدل ولا يأب كاتب أن يكتب كما علمه الله فليكتب وليملل الذي عليه الحق وليتق الله ربه ولا يبخس منه شيئا فإن كان الذي عليه الحق سفيها أو ضعيفا أو لا يستطيع أن يمل هو فليملل وليه بالعدل واستشهدوا شهيدين من رجالكم فإن لم يكونا رجلين فرجل وامرأتان ممن ترضون من الشهداء أن تضل إحداهما فتذكر إحداهما الأخرى ولا يأبى الشهداء إذا ما دعوا ولا تسأموا أن تكتبوه صغيرا أو كبيرا إلى أجله ذلكم أقسط عند الله وأقوم للشهادة وأدنى ألا ترتابوا إلا أن تكون تجارة حاضرة تديرونها بينكم فليس عليكم جناح ألا تكتبوها وأشهدوا إذا تبايعتم ولا يضار كاتب ولا شهيد وإن تفعلوا فإنه فسوق بكم واتقوا الله ويعلمكم الله والله بكل شيء عليم.
282 Matters relating to the giving of loans for a particular period should be committed to writing.
The scribe should not refuse to write, and should write justly.
Let him who is receiving the loan dictate and let the scribe keep Allah's laws in mind and not diminish aught thereof. But if the debtor is mentally deficient or infirm or unable to dictate himself, let his guardian dictate with fairness and let 2 witnesses be called from among your men. If 2 men are not available, then a man and 2 women from among such as are acceptable to you as witness should be called, so that if the one whose witness is being recorded gets confused or forgets some point, the other might refresh her memory. Let not the witnesses refuse to give evidence when summoned. Do not show reluctance to writing down the transaction, be it large or small. This is the fairest procedure according to the law of Allah and is most suitable for eliminating doubt. But if it is a matter of give and take on the spot, there is no blame if it is not committed to writing. However, if it is a matter of trade dealing, then you must have witnesses and let no harm be done either to the scribe or the witnesses.
It will be wickedness on your part if you do so.
Allah, who knows everything, has given you these instructions.
وَإِن كُنتُمْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ وَلَمْ تَجِدُوا كَاتِبًا فَرِهَانٌ مَّقْبُوضَةٌ فَإِنْ أَمِنَ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا فَلْيُؤَدِّ الَّذِي اؤْتُمِنَ أَمَانَتَهُ وَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ رَبَّهُ ولا تكتموا الشهادة ومن يكتمها فإنه آثم قلبه والله بما تعملون عليم.
283 If you are on a journey and do not find a scribe, then take something as a token of pledge.
If you trust each other, let the one who is trusted fulfill his trust and thereby safeguard the law of his Rabb.
Do not conceal what you have witnessed. If you do so, even if the people do not come to know and you remain a respectable person in their eyes, your own heart would continue cursing you, and this will harm the development of yourself, because nothing remains hidden from Allah's law of makafat. Allah knows whatever you do.
لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير.
284 The entire universe is engaged in accomplishing Allah's program.
One of its objectives is that no human action should remain unaccounted for. 34.
3-4, 45. 22, 53. 31. Whether you conceal or reveal your actions, it makes no difference to the law of Mukafat. Results will be produced according to your actions for which Allah has prescribed the measures.
آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير.
285 These laws have been revealed by Allah.
And the Rasul as well as the Jamaat al-Momineen profess Iman in Allah, in Malaika and in Rusul and in his books, and do not differentiate between the Rusul. 2. 136. They say, we have heard and we obey. Each step we take is directed towards the divinely appointed goal.
لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين.
286 By obeying these laws, the human personality is broadened. Whatever is done keeping in mind one's own interest as well as the interest of others helps to develop one's personality, whereas whatever is done simply for one's own interest retards its development. So the believers pray to Allah, O Allah, do not call us to account if we have forgotten what we ought to do or have fallen into error. May we not be buried under the weight of man-made laws as were our predecessors.
Give us the strength to bear the responsibilities vested in us.
If we falter, give us the ability to undo the harm caused by means of good actions. This is how we will be able to secure protection as well as means of development. O Allah, you are our protector, grant us success against the Kafirin who oppose your system.